Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'd love it if you could leave a comment letting me know where you're listening from around the world. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this video. Story 1. I grew up near the edge of the Navajo Nation, in a small trailer that always smelled like would smoke in old books. My grandfather raised me after my parents split. He was a quiet man, not one for drama or bedtime stories. But there was one thing he never joked about: the Southern Ridge. Don't ever go there after dark, he'd say, his voice low, grave, like he was warning me about a live wire or a loaded gun. That's where the old ones walk. The ones who were men once, but gave that up for something worse. I always thought it was just superstition. My grandpa was steeped in old beliefs, half-truths wrapped in ceremony. But when you're 16, you feel untouchable, invincible, and stupid. So one July evening, when the desert air still shimmered with leftover heat and the sky looked like it had been painted with blood and coal, my cousin Josh and I decided to do the one thing we were told never to do. We went up the ridge. The hike was steep, but not long. We reached the top just as the sun dipped below the horizon, leaving the world in that strange blue half-light where shadows grow teeth. The wind, which had been whispering through the cactus all day, died completely. The air was too still, like even the insects were holding their breath. "Feels weird up here," Josh said, kicking a rock off the cliff's edge. "Like the air's heavy." I nodded but didn't answer. My chest felt tight, like something was sitting on it. We built a small fire in a clearing near a crooked rock formation that looked like a hunched man with no face. That should have been a clue, but we were kids, full of boldness and bad decisions. We joked around, talked about girls, music, all the usual. But beneath the surface of our laughter, there was a nervous edge, like we were being watched. You know that feeling? Like something behind you is just about to tap your shoulder, but when you turn, there's nothing there. That. Then we heard her voice, my mom's voice. "Brandon. Brandon, honey." It floated through the trees like fog. Soft. Familiar. Wrong. Josh and I froze. Every hair on my body stood straight up. My mom was 2 hours away, in Flagstaff, watching TV and probably drinking her third glass of wine. "Brandon," the voice said again, but this time was closer. Too close. And the sound wasn't right. It had this bounce to it, like it was echoing off things that weren't there. Josh grabbed my arm. His face had gone white. "Dude," he whispered, "that's not her." "That's it." Then the trees moved. I swear they did, like they were getting out of the way. And something stepped out. It was tall, taller than any man I've ever seen. 7 feet, maybe more. Its body was thin, almost stretched, like someone had grabbed the top of it and pulled hard. The skin hung wrong. Too loose in some places, too tight in others, like it was wearing a body it hadn't grown into. And the face, God help me, the face was my mother's. But not really. It was like someone had tried to sculpt her from memory using wet clay. Only they didn't know what human faces actually looked like. Her eyes were too wide and bulging, the smile too big and trembling. And the mouth, it moved, but not with words. The sound came from its chest. I think I peed a little. I don't remember. I don't even remember standing up. Just running. Josh screamed behind me. The thing, whatever it was, let out a sound like cracking ice mixed with static and took off after us. It didn't run like a person. It jerked, like it was glitching through the world. 1 second it was 20 feet behind, then 5. I swear I felt its breath on my neck once, hot and foul, like rotting meat and burned hair. We didn't stop until we were back at the house, lungs bursting, hearts ready to explode. We slammed the door shut, locked it, bolted it. Josh collapsed onto the couch, crying and laughing all at once. My grandfather didn't ask questions. He took one look at us, dusty, shaking, eyes wild, and nodded like he'd been expecting this. He pulled out his sage, lit it, and started a slow chant under his breath. He walked in circles around us, the smoke thick and bitter. Then he poured salt in a wide ring on the floor and told us to sit. We didn't argue. We didn't even speak. We sat there all night while the wind picked up and something scraped against the outside of the trailer. Slow, deliberate metallic, like claws on aluminum. At one point, it knocked 3 times on the front door. Then nothing. Just silence again. When morning came, my grandfather looked older, tired in a way I'd never seen before. "You saw one of them," he said softly, "and it saw you." I tried to ask what that meant, what it wanted, what it was, but he just shook his head. "You're lucky it let you go. That was 7 years ago. I've never gone near that ridge again, not even in daylight. Sometimes I still hear it in my dreams. My mom's voice calling me from the trees." Story 2. This happened 2 years ago in a nowhere town in rural Utah, the kind of place that has more rust than residents. I was staying with my friend Jeremy on his family's farm. His dad had thrown out his back, so I'd come up for a week to help with the harvest. Long days, long nights, longer shadows. You know that uneasy, quiet cornfields have when the wind dies, like the stalks are listening. Yeah, then I was like that. We'd worked late, way past dark. The old tractor lights cast weird yellow beams through the rows, flickering every time the engine coughed. Jeremy's little sister, Abby, just turned 12, had taken their scrappy little mutt, Rocket, for a walk along the edge of the field near the treeline. It wasn't unusual. That dog followed her like a shadow. But time ticked on, and she didn't come back. We called for her. Nothing. Jeremy started pacing. 10 minutes became 20. Then we heard it. "Jeremy, I'm here. Come get me." At first, relief flooded his face. But then we heard it again, and again, the same words, same tone, same voice, but from different parts of the cornfield. "Jeremy, I'm here. Come get me." Front, left, far right, behind us. The air got cold, that kind of cold that sinks into your teeth. Jeremy's flashlight trembled in his hand. "What the hell is that?" he muttered. The dog barked, somewhere deeper in the corn. Rocket was brave, but that bark was frantic. And then it changed. I swear on every bone in my body, it turned into a scream. A raw, high-pitched, human-like scream. We ran. Didn't talk. Just ran. The corn slapped against our arms and legs. Shadows twisted between rows like they were moving with us. Then we stumbled onto the old combine. It hadn't run in years, just sat there like a rusted dinosaur, sleeping under moonlight. Abby was under it, huddled, eyes wide, clutching what was left of Rocket's collar. The dog was nowhere. She was shaking so hard her teeth clacked. "I saw it," she whispered. "It was me, but not." We didn't ask. She told us anyway. She'd been walking when the dog stopped and stared into the corn. Then she saw something crawl out, low to the ground, long limbs, pale skin stretched too tight. It moved like a spider learning to walk. But when it rose, it was her. Her face, her size, her clothes, except the eyes, glowing red like dying coals, and the smile, too wide, like it had been carved into her face. It called out for Jeremy. She ran. Rocket tried to protect her, but whatever that thing was, it took him. We brought her home. Jeremy's dad called the sheriff. Of course, they found nothing. No tracks, no blood, no dog. Just corn. That night, I stayed over. None of us slept. But at 2:13 a.m., I remember the time because I was staring at the clock. I heard a tap. Then another. Then a third. At the window. 3 slow taps. I froze. So did Jeremy. We both sat up. The curtain swayed, just a little, like something had brushed it from the outside. I stood, heart pounding so loud I thought it would wake the whole house. I walked to the window and peeked through the gap. There she was, Abby, or what looked like Abby. But the smile, oh God, that smile. It went too far back, almost to the ears. Her eyes glowed a faint red. She didn't blink, just stood there, tapping, one hand against the glass, her head cocked like a broken toy. I backed away, slowly. She didn't move. Then she did, just vanished into the dark, like smoke dissolving in wind. We told Jeremy's dad. He said nothing, just sat down and lit a cigarette with shaking fingers. He told us about the stories, the ones his grandfather told him, the ones he thought were old desert fairy tales. Skinwalkers, shapeshifters, mimics, evil that wears your face. We blessed the house, burned sage, left offerings, but never really left. Sometimes I still see it in dreams. A skinny thing crawling through the corn, dragging its limbs, wearing the faces of people I love. It doesn't speak anymore. It just stares. We don't go near that field. Not anymore. Not since the corn started growing faster near the tree-line. Taller, thicker, and always whispering when there's no wind. Story 3. I was driving across northern Arizona that night, trying to make Flagstaff before midnight. Monsoon season had hit hard and fast. 1 minute, the sky was bruised but calm. The next, black clouds, sideways rain, and lightning that split the desert in jagged white cracks. I pulled over to the shoulder, heart pounding, windshield wipers failing against the torrent. There was nothing for miles but sagebrush and shadows. My GPS froze. My phone had 1 bar. I cursed and leaned forward, peering through the watery blur of glass. That's when I saw the faded green sign through the rain. Desert Haven Motel. The arrow flickered like it had forgotten how electricity worked. No lights around it. Just that broken neon stabbing the dark. I turned down the gravel road, tires crunching over loose rock. The motel looked like it had been built in the 60s and abandoned in the 80s. A horseshoe of single-story rooms with chipped paint, sun-bleached wood, and doors that looked like they'd been punched more than once. No other cars in the lot. At the front office, a dim bulb buzzed overhead. I pushed the glass door open. The clerk sat behind the counter like he'd grown there. He was old, real old, skin like dry paper, eyes buried in shadow, and hunched so low his nose almost touched the counter. He didn't smile, didn't even lift his head. "You open?" I asked. He nodded once, slow, then slid a key across the counter without a word. The tag said room 6. I should have left. I should have taken the storm and the desert and the darkness over what was waiting for me. But I was tired, dog tired. In that room, dingy, stained carpet, a flickering lamp, and the smell of wet mold still felt safer than the storm outside. I locked the door, triple-checked the chain, crashed on the sagging bed. At 3:37 a.m., I woke up, dead awake, not slowly, not from a dream. I just was. There was a sound, whispers, outside my door. They weren't loud. They weren't even coherent. It was like a bunch of voices trying to almost sound like people, but failing. The words tumbled over each other, breathy and broken, like they were learning how to speak while watching a movie through static. I thought maybe it was the wind. The storm had calmed, but maybe the gusts were playing tricks with branches or the loose signs outside. I stayed still, listened. The whispering stopped. Silence. Then came the scratching. Long, slow, deliberate. It started low, right by the bottom of the door. Something was testing the frame, like claws dragging across wood. Not a raccoon, not a dog. Something bigger. I sat up, heart banging in my chest like a trapped bird. My mouth was dry. I reached for my phone. Dead. Not low battery dead. Black screen, wouldn't turn on. The scratching stopped. I held my breath. Then, 3 sharp taps. Not knuckles. Claws. The sound sent ice through my veins. Not because it was loud, but because it was so intentional. Like whatever was out there knew exactly what it was doing. And then the voice came. Low. Guttural. Not a growl, but something below that. Like it was being pushed through vocal cords that weren't made for talking. Let me in, it said. I didn't move. I know your name. I felt the blood drain from my face. I know your face. I stood slowly. My legs didn't want to work. My hand shook as I reached for the peephole. I should have run. Should have buried myself under blankets like a kid. But something made me look. Nothing. Just darkness. The hallway was empty. But I felt it. Just beyond the door. Something was there. Waiting. Watching. Then it spoke again. And this time, it said a name. A name no one alive should have known. Bubba. That's what my sister used to call me when we were kids. Just her. Just her. She died 7 years ago. Bubba. The voice repeated, sweeter this time. Higher. Like hers. Like it was trying to be her. I stumbled back from the door so fast I tripped over the bed frame and slammed onto the floor. Pain lit up my back, but I didn't care. I stayed there, frozen, staring at the door, waiting for it to break in, to crack open like a rib cage and show me whatever face that voice really belonged to. But nothing happened. It didn't knock again, didn't scratch, didn't whisper. It just stood there. I knew it was still there, until the first orange light of dawn started creeping through the curtain. At sunrise, I threw everything into my backpack and ran. Didn't shower, didn't brush my teeth, didn't look back. The office was empty. No sign of the old man. Just a bowl of dry keys behind the counter. I got in my car and turned the key. The engine whined, coughed, then caught. As I pulled away, I glanced at the door of room 6. Claw marks. 3 long gouges, like something had dragged nails across it while I slept. I didn't stop driving until I hit the next town. I pulled into a gas station, went inside, and told the cashier what had happened. He just looked at me and nodded, like I wasn't the first. Shouldn't have stopped in Black Hollow, he said. Locals avoid that place. Why? He didn't answer right away. Just handed me a bottle of water. Some things were faces like masks, he said finally. And when they learn your name, they follow you. That was 2 years ago. Sometimes, when I'm about to fall asleep, I hear whispering at the window. And every once in a while, a voice calls me Bubba.